Okay, we are on. So,
Yay!
hi, Jenny.
Hi, Olia.
So great to have you. Welcome to my show. Um, let me introduce you to my friend and my coach, Jennie Bellinger. She's a mom of two who are 8 and 12 now, former science teacher, currently podcast host of Badass Direct Sales Mastery, a certified leadership and sales coach, and a network marketing expert and trainer at Level Up Coaching. She's located right outside of St. Louis, but her business is actually global. So she has clients all over the world. Well, welcome again, Jenny. It's so great to have you.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Olia. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. So please take a minute and fill in some of the blanks in in the really brief intro and give us a little bit of a glimpse into your personal life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure there's probably a few people who are wondering, how do you go from science teacher to sales coach? And that transition does involve me having started my own business back in 2010. I was in the direct sales industry with a direct sales jewelry company. I was with them for 7 years. And during that time, I saw so many people coming and going in and out of the business, not just in my company, but in a lot of different companies. Because, anybody who's in direct sales knows lots of other people who are in direct sales. We start creating this community of people around us who, you know, do the same business, different products, right? And I saw a lot of people coming and going, and that really hurt my heart because I knew what this business was doing for me and what I so wanted, to help other people create. And so I developed a really great leadership and sales program that I worked with my own team, that I did with other teams in my company for a number of years. I was, requested by other leaders to come and train their teams and even in some cases coach them, help their team members achieve what they were looking to achieve. So I knew that my process worked not just for my own team members, but for other people as well. And then going through the process of saying, okay, well, then suddenly I had people from other companies now starting to ask me, well, you helped my friend, and I don't know if she's not on your team. Will you help me? Well, that's a whole different that's a, as they say on The Wizard of Oz, that's a horse of a different color. I'm not quite sure if I can handle that. So I took some time to really think about, is this process going to work for everyone? Is this something that we can do, regardless of product? And of course, sales is sales. So yeah, I recognized that this was going to be beneficial, and so I pursued a certification in coaching and started Level Up Coaching LLC in spring of 2017. So I'm getting ready to celebrate my fourth anniversary. So um, in this time, I've helped hundreds of women and a few men as well achieve their goals, whether it's to hit a particular rank, earn a trip, earn the car, build an empire. With everybody, it's a little bit different, but as long as they share their goals with me, I can help them achieve it.
That's fantastic. And yeah, and we've been working together for the last few months, and I'm really, grateful to you for all the wisdom and experience you've
Aw.
shared. So going back just a little bit, I have, this is not scripted, as you guys probably can tell, but how were you introduced to direct sales? And did you say yes right away?
Yeah. So I was introduced to direct sales as a child. My mom, for as long as I can remember, my mother has been a Mary Kay client, customer. She was a Tupperware customer. She was an Avon customer. Like all of those companies we think of from our childhood, at least here in the US. I don't know what it was like in Russia, but here in the US, we had a bunch of different companies. And I remember my mom having those parties. And so to me, direct sales was a part of life. There were people who went to other people's houses and had really cool products that helped solve some problems for people. And that was how these women added some additional income into their homes. And in some cases, they were single moms. In some cases, they were military moms. In fact, in many cases, they were military moms because that's what my mom was at the time, was a military mom. So she, it's sometimes hard for a military wife to go and find a new job in every location every 2 to 3 years that you're moving. So I grew up with direct sales, but then I did my first stint with direct sales. I tried to be a Mary Kay lady in college. That worked for about 6 weeks. So I did not stick with it for very long between my studies and back then they had territories and there were issues with that. So I was like, okay, this is not the time for me right now. And but then once I got married and I was a teacher, I started having parties because I knew people in my life who were selling various products. I had candle parties and relationship enhancement parties and skincare parties for various companies, like, because I wanted to take care of myself and get my stuff at a discount. So I was definitely willing to have lots of those parties. I had kitchen product parties, all of them, because I wanted all the things, right? And everyone who came, almost everyone who came and did a party with me as the hostess, almost every one of them offered me the opportunity. And it just was never quite the right time, or maybe it wasn't the right product. Like, I like the product, but I have zero interest in turning this into a lifestyle for myself. Um, but then the recession of 2008 hit, and that was also when I stepped back from teaching. I took a couple of years off to be mom, brand new mom, first time. And when I decided in 2000, late 2009, early 2010, okay, I think I'm ready to go back into teaching. Schools here in Illinois didn't have money. The state of Illinois still to this day is broke. So, it was really hard to find a teaching job. And so I took that as a sign from the universe that that wasn't where I was meant to be. So then I said, okay, universe, if I'm not meant to be a teacher, where am I meant to be? And 2 days later, I got an invitation to go to a jewelry fashion show. And
The
the
rest is
rest is
history.
the rest is history, right? I went, okay, universe, I'm gonna take the hint, started my business, and within 6 months had promoted. A few months later had double promoted, had earned 2 trips, worked my way towards car bonuses, all basically all the little metrics that someone might check off as being a successful direct salesperson. I hit them all. I had a working team. I was earning the trips. I was earning the cars. I was earning all the things. And so it really came down to, is this the end all be all? Is this where I'm meant to be? And then I already told you how I got into coaching. So now we're full circle.
Right, right. Well, that's a great story. Yeah, I did not grow up in the country where business started after kind of in the 90s, I would say.
Yeah.
And the direct sales and all of that stuff like that, we were exposed to all of that kind of later on, when I was like a teenager. So tell us a little bit about, like, what was your most challenging moment as an entrepreneur? I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs in my network, and those who want to be entrepreneurs. So and my goal is to inspire anybody who wants to start a business. So I'm sure if you faced it, then other people will face it or have faced it as well.
Absolutely. I think it's really a toss up, and the two are actually connected as well. Is number one, the flexibility of the business. Everyone thinks that the flexibility is a bonus. And oftentimes, the biggest bonus from a business, or the biggest bonus in life, can also be your biggest negative as well, right? So the flexibility of direct sales is awesome. The flexibility of entrepreneurship, running your own business, is awesome. And it's also sometimes a hindrance because we go, oh, well, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. And we keep pushing off and we keep pushing off and we keep pushing off. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, I was supposed to get this thing done like 3 weeks ago or 2 months ago, or, time passes too quickly because things are too flexible. And part of that flexibility issue comes from the or the belief that we need to be motivated to work,
Mhm.
which is a myth. Motivation to get things done is a myth. Like, or at least the belief that you have to be motivated to get started. I think it's a I think that's complete hooey and holds people back. Honestly, it's really that you've got to take that first step forward, that first action, whatever it may be, anything, any step forward. So that means you have to know, well, which direction is forward. Thank you, Scott Conway, for teaching me that. You've got to know which direction is forward, but you've got to take a step forward. Once you take that step, then you go, ooh, I moved forward. Okay, that feels kind of good. I'm going to do the next thing. So then we all of a sudden find, well, I was just going to do 5 minutes worth of work. Well, now all of a sudden here you are an hour later and you've crossed 3 things off your list. Well, you weren't motivated when you started, but boy, you were sure motivated to keep going. So, if we can just keep in mind that we don't need to be motivated to get started, we just need to be motivated to keep going.
Amen to that. Coming from professional sports, I can totally relate to that. You just have to take that step and the motivation will come.
Yeah, absolutely.
So could you share with us, and I think, I kind of have a feeling that, what it might be, but could you share a story, where you had a real, aha moment, and that you think is going to resonate with our audience, and then the steps you took to turn that idea into success?
I have to say the biggest eye-opening moment was when I came home from one of our company conferences back when we used to have conferences in person and there was 3,000 people in a room. And this actually just popped up in my Facebook memories earlier, like late last week, right? And I shared it on my Facebook page. So please feel free to go check me out on Facebook. But the moment when I earned these two trophies that you see behind me here, because both of those trophies were group trophies. They weren't personal sales, they weren't personal recruiting. It was group number one in the world for group recruiting and number three in the world for group sales
Wow.
in at my level, right? So they weren't comparing me to people who were like company vice presidents. They were comparing me to other people at my level, but my group was number one in the world for recruiting. And to me, what that told me when I got home and really came down from the high, the adrenaline rush of getting this, I wasn't working for the trophy. I was not working for the trophy. I just wanted to help my team succeed. And so I was helping them achieve their goals. And in the end, we as a group walked away as number one in the world in recruiting. And we were just like, how did that happen? Right. And for me, the aha moment, that was when things really started for me to click that I've got something that other people that helps other people succeed. Right. That for me was my aha moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, when I remember there's a quote, I think if your dream is just about you or involves you, then you're dreaming too small. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
so to kind of fast forward, you have your coaching business, you have your podcast. What Tell us what you're most excited about in your business right now.
Oh, this one's easy. If you know what's coming, right? So I have a summit coming up. So I'm doing my very first virtual summit because I realized with this virtual world now, I no longer am relegated to just working with people here in the St. Louis area. I'm able to expand out and work with people not only nationally here in the US, but internationally. And as part of my summit, it's happening March 18th through the 20th. So it's about a month away. You know, it
Yeah.
it 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 feels like my wedding all over again. The last month where you're like doing all the little things leading up to it, right? But the most exciting piece out of this is I've got 36 speakers who are going to be on this summit, and one of them is Jack Canfield.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
just
huge.
talked to Jack Canfield on Friday.
That's
Like,
amazing.
I was Zooming with him like I am with you. I
Yeah.
like still I feel like a 6-year-old who just talked to Santa Claus. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of
right?
you who don't know who Jack Canfield is, he's the author, well, of multiple books, but the
Chicken
Chicken
soup for
Soup for the Soul, and then the Success Principles, and he's
the
a world.
power of focus and success affirmations. He's got so many different books and he's got the Canfield coaching program which is available as well. I mean, he's just if you've read The Secret or seen The Secret movie, you've read some of Jack Canfield's stuff or seen him in that movie. And to me that was just a like, oh my gosh, like super exciting moment because
No.
if I hadn't followed his success principle of just ask, I would not have had Jack Canfield on my summit because I was like, you know what, I'm having a summit. Who, if I could speak to anybody, who do I want to speak to? And I was like, "Pfft, Jack Canfield, duh." And then I went to his website and I sent a request into his team and he wrote me back. Not his
Wow.
assistant, not a like Jack Canfield wrote me back. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And that was just huge. And what I really loved about the interview, and I'm giving a little sneak peek, but again, this was something I put out on my Facebook page, so it's not totally secret.
Yeah.
But in his career, he's been doing this for over 50 years now. And in this 50 years, he has worked with 5 different direct sales company, not as a coach. He himself has run a network marketing business as a consultant and leader,
Really?
and he's doing one right now.
Seriously? I
Yeah,
had no idea.
right? So if Jack Canfield thinks that network marketing and direct sales is a valuable business model and has felt that way for 50 plus years, kind of makes you rethink the business model, right? It makes you go,
Yeah.
oh, it brings a little more credibility to this for people who are skeptics. If Jack Canfield is currently running a business that, for him, he'll tell the story. If you want to hear Jack, sign up for the Badass Direct Sales Mastery virtual summit. Just go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com and sign up for it. It's a totally free ticket. You don't have to pay to see Jack Canfield. It's totally free. Go sign up and he'll share the story of how he got into it and why. And it is powerful. Like thinking about it now, I don't know if you can see, but I'm getting
I'm getting goosebumps.
goosebumps thinking about like why he decided to do another direct sales or network marketing business right now. It's a powerful story and I absolutely loved it. So that's what I'm most excited about is I interviewed Jack Canfield.
That is fantastic. It's phenomenal. That's
Thank you. Well, it's a
yeah.
success principle. Just ask. If he had said no, I was in no different position than I was before. But he said yes. And so now I'm able to say, hey, who else wants to say they spoke on a summit with Jack Canfield? So I've got speakers left and right signing up, going, me, me. So by the way, guys, I only have a few slots left for speakers. So I'm just putting it out there. If you're watching this going, I want to speak on a summit with Jack Canfield, hurry up and reach out to me now. Let's get you signed up because those spots are going fast now that I'm able to say, I've got the interview in the can.
I don't doubt that. Oh, that's fantastic. So let us know. So I don't know if there's anything actually, like, I have this question, but to me, like, talking to you and just having worked with you and just hearing your story, it doesn't seem like anything was really holding you back from becoming an entrepreneur and like starting your first business. I mean, you did kind of share that like the timing was not right, but was there anything, that kind of held you back besides the timing prior to like,
From doing a direct sales
yeah,
business?
yeah.
Uh, at the time, when these other reps were offering me the opportunity, what really part of what held me back was this thing that I told myself, which was, well, I'm not a salesperson.
Mhm.
I had that same conversation in my head that, you do it, but I'm not, I don't sell. That's not what I do. Right. I'm a teacher, you know, who am I to go and develop a business? Who am I to go do this thing, whatever you want to call it? So I did have the same objections, the same thoughts in my head that other people have. Now I never had the objection of, this is not a real business. I can say that it was never a fear of pyramid scheme. I was never worried about that because I'm a big believer in this because I saw from childhood what it did for these women and their families. And so for me, it was about me. It wasn't the right product. It wasn't the right time. I wasn't in the right mindset. And still to this day, I am my biggest holdback, even in my current business right now. Um, eh, you know, One of the things I like to regularly share with people is, just because I'm a coach doesn't mean I have all my stuff together, except usually when I'm on my podcast, I say it a little bit differently. It doesn't mean that I have all my stuff together. Sometimes, there are things in my life where things are a little crazy. I can definitely relate to people who are trying to balance work, being a mom, being in relationship with a romantic partner, fitting in time with friends, taking care of yourself. That self-care piece is something that, has become so obvious in the last year that we needed, because the whole world went, "Oh, you guys aren't taking care of yourselves. Here, have a global pandemic that shows you how not well you're taking care of yourself," right?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time to take care of ourselves. We've got to be eating healthier, taking care of our bodies so that our immune systems will work properly, getting enough sleep, getting enough water, getting the right foods and vitamins and supplements that our body needs in order to take care of ourselves, regardless of what comes our way. Not not a particular virus necessarily, right? So,
Yeah.
I am my biggest holdback still to this day. And I think that's true even for people like Jack Canfield, right? We all have our own constraints, as long as you've got someone who can work you through it. So, I utilize coaching myself. I have coaches in different areas of my life that I use to help me get past those things. So that way I stop standing in my own way because, sorry, just like a counselor cannot therapize themselves, and I know that's not a word, but I'm going to use it. Just like they can't counsel themselves, I cannot coach myself, right? Just like an entrepreneur knows what needs to be done, and yet they still push things off. Sometimes you just need to have that extra layer of accountability, or someone to help you see the bigger picture, or someone to push you along when you need just that little extra prodding saying, "Hey, you said you were going to do this. Have your priorities changed? No? Okay, then why aren't you doing it?" you know? So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So, and I just have a few, brief questions that,
sure.
because we want to make sure that we are, brief and concise. But I
Yeah.
absolutely like have loved this conversation. I, had no idea about Jack Canfield, about, and then you're growing up with the, a mom, and like in this business. Like
Yeah.
it's I haven't met anyone who really grew up with that in their life, so it's been fantastic. So what is the best advice that you've ever received?
Oh, I'd have to say it came from two different sources, but they were both in the same room and they coached me through how to say no.
Mm,
They coach me through how to say no. Like, and it starts with evaluating your I mean, this is a much longer conversation, but
sure.
the bullet points on it, because we want to clear and concise, right?
Yeah.
You got to evaluate your priorities. Are you the best person to do the thing that someone's asking you to do? Do you have the capacity to do it right now? Do you want to do it right now? If all those things are no, then hurry up and say no and free them up and put it in a way that says, thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate that you think I'm the person for you. And I don't think that that's the case right now. What you don't know about me is that right now I've got, A, B, and C happening in my life. So I would not be able to fulfill this in a timely manner that you would like to get this done. So I'm going to, you know, thank you and give you the time to go find someone else who can do that for you.
Yeah,
Learning no was the greatest advice I ever learned.
yeah, I agree. I think especially women have a hard time saying no. So this is great, and thank you for going through the little bullet points too. Um, and so, what do you think is the one personal habit that you believe contributed to your and is contributing to your success?
Perseverance, commitment, basically. It's when I started with the direct sales company, I made a commitment to myself that I was not allowed to say no to the business while I was in the bottom part of the roller coaster. I was only allowed to say no when I was at the top.
So don't quit on a bad day, right?
Amen. Amen. Don't quit on a bad day, because it's not fair. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to your customers. It's not fair to your team members. If you've developed a team, it's not fair. And you haven't given yourself the full shot to do something that's going to make you proud of you and what you can accomplish. So I made sure that I was always going to be, doing whatever I could to make sure that my business was at the best that it could be at the time that I was in. And if I was having a downtime, maybe I wasn't recruiting, maybe I didn't have any parties on the books, whatever it was, I still wasn't allowed to say no until I did everything conceivably possible to get the business up and running again. And so when I switched out from being active in the direct sales business to going coaching full time, I was at the top of my game. I did have a large team that was active and working, and I was still earning in the process of earning trips and all of those things. And I realized that my calling was to help other people do the same thing, not just in my company, but in as many different companies as I felt comfortable adding to my repertoire.
That's fantastic. And yes, you're so right. Yeah, never quit on a bad day. Um, so do you have any like key kind of resources like Google Drive or like any tools that you use? I know that we use Trello, but any business tools that help you. Um,
Yeah, you named two of my three favorites. My very, 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 very favorite business tool that I'm kicking myself for taking so long to decide to utilize is Calendly. So I actually teach a class teaching people how to get their calendar under control and using a tool like Calendly, which people are starting to see more and more of it these days. So I no longer have to explain what Calendly is, which is kind of nice because most people know what it is. But that's my number one favorite tool. Google Drive comes in a very close second because I can access all of my documents, all the things I need to. I can share them with other people. My VA uses Google Drive, and we communicate through a lot of utilizing that. And then Trello, like you said, it's a great project management tool that allows me to keep track of my clients and where they are with their goals and the activities that they said that they were going to do, along with deadlines that pop up on my phone. And that's what's really nice about Trello is it's both online and on your phone. So I can get a little pop-up that says, hey, Olia is due to finish this thing tomorrow. So I'm then able to, if I need to check in. Most of the time you've already done your thing, so it's all good. But,
yeah,
it's those three things together combined have really helped automate a lot of my business and make it go a lot more smoothly so that I'm not the one having to remember and keep track of all the things. So yeah,
yeah.
I would say those three tools are my very, very favorites.
Yeah. Calendly has been saving my life, and I've actually just upgraded. So it's Yeah, it's thank you for
You're welcome.
for that as well. I mean, you're just a wealth of knowledge and great advice. And before we close, what is one, maybe two books that you would recommend to people that to our audience?
Yeah. So I would say that for me, oh, hi Boots. For me, my number one all-time favorite book, we've already discussed it briefly, is The Success Principles. I
Mhm.
read that book in 2013. It was a life changer. It's by Jack Canfield. I still keep it here on my desk. That's the book you can see right there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
The Success Principles. And last year he actually came out with a workbook to go along with it. And then my second favorite book, if we're going to go in the industry of direct sales and network marketing, I really love Janine Finney's Flip Flop CEO. It is a great book for not only people who are in direct sales, who would like to better understand the business model and how it works and why it works. It's also a great book to share with skeptics. So when somebody says, well, it's just a pyramid scheme or whatever, I've actually recommended that my clients get that book for the skeptic in their life, whether it's a spouse, a sibling, a parent, a cousin, a neighbor, whoever the biggest skeptic is in their world, and say, would you be willing to read the first 3 chapters of this book? You don't have to read the whole thing. Would you be willing to read the first 3 chapters? And oftentimes that's enough to help get the skeptic to stop being someone who's going to pull you down and at least be neutral to your business, but they're not going to be dissing it anymore. And but what I've seen happen more often than not is that people actually become big supporters because they realize now how and why this business works and how it shows up in their life. Because anybody who poo-poos on direct sales and network marketing, um every time they recommend a TV show or a Netflix series or a restaurant or a dentist for someone to go to, you are doing word of mouth marketing, but you're not getting paid for it. Netflix doesn't say, oh, thank you for sharing our new series. No, I did not get paid to share Mindhunter, but I sure as heck went and told everybody, oh my gosh, this series is so awesome, right?
Huh,
I didn't
I'll
get
have to
paid for
check
it.
it out.
Yeah, right? I didn't get paid for that,
Yeah,
but, that's how word of mouth marketing works, and it's
yeah,
just, why is there a problem? Why do people have a problem if I'm getting paid for saying, "Hey, I'm having a really great experience with this skincare company. I'm having a really great experience with these oils. I'm having a really great experience with this jewelry. I'm having a really great experience with these nails. I'm having a really," whatever it may be. Why
yeah,
do people care if you get paid for sharing it? And
yeah.
once you have that conversation, most of them go, well, I don't care about that. I care about the fact that it's not real. Well, how do you know that? How do you know that? So Janine Finney's book is phenomenal for that. So it's called The Flip Flop CEO, and it's phenomenal.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, I'll put this in the, I'll put the link to it in the comments. Thank you so much. That was great. So before we say goodbye, I wanted to ask you to give give our audience like your parting advice and piece of guidance, and also some ways that they can get a hold of you.
Oh, awesome. Well, in terms of parting guidance, I'm assuming anybody who's watching this is already probably a big supporter of network marketing and direct sales. Um, I think it goes back to don't give up on yourself, right? Like, make sure you're doing everything conceivably possible. And if you think that you've thought of everything, go talk to a mentor, go talk to a coach, go find more books, go find more YouTube videos. I mean, the number of things that you can find on YouTube for abso-freaking-lutely free is mind-numbingly astounding, right?
Yeah,
There's no way you've learned everything you possibly can about effective business practices, about effective sales techniques, about effective relationship building. That's the biggest key I think in all of this was I never sold jewelry. What I did do is built a relationship with people who enjoyed jewelry, and then I just happened to provide it for them,
Yeah.
right? I didn't sell jewelry. I helped busy professional women get dressed in the morning so that they felt confident and could go kick ass in their day. Like that's what I told people I did. And they go, "Well, oh, how do you do that? Are you a stylist?" "Yes. I work with fashion and accessories." I didn't tell people I sell jewelry, you know? So,
Yeah.
there are a lot of things to learn out there. And if you're ready to give up on your business, you haven't learned enough
Amen to that.
or you haven't implemented one of the two.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, one of the two for sure.
Yeah,
Most
you
of the
you
time,
either haven't learned enough or you haven't put what you did learn into practice,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So and then you also asked people how they can get a hold of me. Well, obviously I've been tagged here in Facebook, so you can reach me through Facebook. Please feel free. I am available for conversations. You can also go to listen to my podcast. Again, that's Badass Direct Sales Mastery. It is available on all major podcast platforms. If you don't know what a podcast is, just go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com and you can listen to the episodes through the website. Most people feel very comfortable with that. Or you can search Badass Direct Sales Mastery on YouTube and go watch the videos. So we have all the options out there. So
That's right. Yeah. And I'm also going to upload this on YouTube as well.
perfect.
So, well, thank you so much, Jenny. This has been absolutely fantastic and so much fun. Guys, thank you so much for checking in and checking this out. And hopefully you've learned something that really has, it's going to help you going forward, whether you have your own business right now or you're thinking about it, and need some encouragement. This has been just absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Jenny.
Oh, thank you, Olia. I really appreciate it.
All right.